Hello, welcome back to the Bridgeport Diaries, and this week we've had quite a bit of progress on the timing cover, which is on the big faceplate of the Churchill lathe just there. So the Shed Fairies, that's Bob has been very busy this week and managed to do quite a bit on the timing side, timing cover. So if you remember the last video that we had this in, we just drilled through centre drill here and there to mark the centre of the crankshaft and the centre of the sleeve drive crank. Those have now been drilled out and reamed to have a nice fit for the bush that goes on the end of the crankshaft and on the end of the sleeve drive crank. And this has been taken out to take the bearing that goes on the end of the sleeve drive crank, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So the next step, of course, we drill in here where the oil pump output is. We need to drill up this way, so the oil pump, having been taken from the tank, gets pumped into this cover here and out here into the crank. It also comes up the drilling here and out of here into the sleeve drive crank. Those drillings still need to be done, but it's been quite a job to get that level and flat and centered on this great big faceplate. It looks quite a thing when it's going round because it's a reasonable size. So what goes in here, let me just show you that, and it should make sense. This is the sleeve drive crank. That pin there drives the sleeve up and down. That there has got the large bearing in that goes into the large hole on the timing side. And then on this side of the sleeve drive crank, you can see here we've got the bearing. That's the bearing that goes into the bearing hole on the timing plate. And on the end of the sleeve drive crank, you've also got this little bush here that oh no, it's not on there, sorry, this little bush here that's a lovely fit in that hole there and that hole there. They've been reamed out with a nice new sharp reamer, and I think I mentioned that in the last video, and that obviously goes on the end of the sleeve drive crank there. So that's the assembly that will be inside the timing cover. This bearing will be in the main timing side of the engine cases, and on this diagram here you can probably just make that out. We're talking about this bearing here, that bearing there in the timing cover is what we're machining the hole for at the moment. So it's been quite a good week. There's a fair bit of progress. I've also got some other updates from the other shed, but for now I'll keep this one fairly short, and thanks very much to Bob, who's been busy on the big lathe in the other shed. Thanks for watching. More updates to follow.